Alright, survive. So I already have the pumpkin head on because I was planning on just immediately starting. But I realized because of how the end is set up that I did not want to permanently lose everything. And there's no real save function in Minecraft, like you just SOL. The only real feature, and yeah, this is a bit extra what I'm doing right here, but rebuilding the end portal. So, alright, I duplicated the world. That's what I did. So, on Bedrock Edition with a PS4, basically the only way to save is to just create another version, duplicate it. But it didn't really work the way I thought it was going to. And yeah, the reason for the pumpkin head is because the only other time I visited the end was in a different world, in a different whatever it's called, survival. And the moment I spawned on to that little island, it was a little bit further away than this one, a little bit higher. So I was at eye level with all the Endermen, and it didn't load the Enderman until after I had apparently made eye contact. So as the world is building terrain and setting itself up and everything, I got pushed off the thing and lost everything. Suddenly it's oh, loading world, and instead of being on the platform, I'm falling, and it says, oh, you fell to your death, because it made the little sound of the Enderman hitting you or whatever So I knew what had happened, but it was still immense levels of bullshit. So, but yeah, my wife has a former 5th grader that's now a 6th grader, and yeah, she came over to babysit, was one of the only people who came over to babysit, because, even though my wife works at a Christian school, apparently Christians don't help you unless you pay them. You have to, pay to have community. So, yeah, that's why I've been very unimpressed with all that shit. And, yeah, but this former 5th grader, former student of my wife, when I told her what had happened, because, as 5th graders are, she was incredulous to my having not beaten Minecraft before, because to me, Minecraft, I played it initially on the beta, in 2010, 2011, 2012. In that time frame is when I remember first playing Minecraft, and there was nothing to it. There's zombies, skeletons, creepers, oak trees, nothing else other than oak. And it was very simple. It was just hey, you get to build in this very blocky universe. It was very entertaining. All the extra stuff that they've added hasn't really done as much as I think that the people adding it think that it does. The game is great by itself. They didn't need the end. They didn't need, a lot of stuff that they added just because, when Microsoft bought it, they were well, we got to make sure that there's some way to beat the game, I think it was around then. I'm not actually 100%. Either way, I have never beaten the dragon before. I have never gone up against it, and I am saving all the audio to being exactly how it is in the game so that you can hear just how tremendously loud this frickin' dragon is, because, you feel the fight, It's good in that sense. They did do that correctly, right? I'm not complaining, per se. I'm just saying that, the game is good without, the need for this objective. But now I don't have any ender pearls, and just sound off in the comments, how many times do you think I'm gonna die when I'm playing against the ender dragon? Because I don't have any feather falling potions. I have a bucket of water that I very unsuccessfully try to use to mitigate fall damage, and technically my boots have feather falling 4, and yeah. So, and my sword has looting 3. So if they do drop a pearl, usually they drop more than 1, which is nice. Because, yeah, I had intended on, even before, and I'm going to be posting after this video, the lead up, because I had to find an end portal in the first place. So there's a lot of running around. And then I found out, actually, that most strongholds, and this is a very important point that I'm going to be probably talking about a lot, especially in the videos that I make where I show finding the stronghold and filling in the end portal and getting to this point. I'm just sharing the beating Minecraft because, this is the peak, like it's the best. So it's the most worthwhile. It's the best draw in a manner, the most exciting. The other stuff is, like, I'm literally in ×1 speed right now for playing, so it looks like normal playing, But when I post up the other videos, I'm going to be making them ×2 speed because it's just, mining. Maybe it'll be 1.5. I'm not 100% yet because I haven't really made them yet. But I did do a speed adjustment on one of the clips that I've made, and I took like a 2-hour video and turned 2 hours worth of gameplay and turned it into an hour. And although in a lot of cases it works better for it to be ×2 because it's just monotonous otherwise, I think it's a little too fast. It kind of has like this sort of spastic feel to it because I do kind of like twitch. Okay, so when you're beating the dragon, if you see there's these white particles, it just went by a minute ago, but there's these, a second ago or so, there's these particles that, like, it's like a beam of white that goes towards the dragon. When you look at the dragon when it's flying around, you'll be able to see it. But each of those little beams heals the dragon, so that you pretty much can't kill it unless you destroy all the things that heal it. That makes sense. It's very simple gameplay mechanic. Typical of a lot of boss fights, where it's like you have to do different things to set it up. Like, I can't just go and attack the dragon right now because I haven't destroyed all the little things. But because of the fact that there's this gap over this chasm, I'm like, nah, I'm not going to have it be where one of these times I go running, in the end, and then I just somehow get that 1 block distance that has me falling into the void. And I realized, especially later on, I'm going to make another video that's the end of this clip, this gameplay basically, because I go to a end city and I get a elytra. The first end city that I go to is pretty great, very lucky. I have the dragon's head ornament and all that fun. So, but I do think that there's probably something that I've missed because I didn't get the egg. And the more I think about it, the more I'm like, I'm pretty sure the egg is... Anyways, it's how you get the dragon to come back, I think. Literally never done this kind of stuff before. But right now I'm just collecting up blocks because I used up most of my dirt filling in, or at least the dirt pile that I had in my quick slot, because I do have another stack in the inventory. But I used a bunch of it up, making that little, like, chasm guard. Yeah, we're like 8 minutes in. Not even close. But yeah, there's a lot of better ways to do this fight. So... yeah, you hear how loud that was? Yeah. It's intense. But it's very entertaining. That's the way to do a boss, Like, you gotta make it so you feel the boss. Oh my gosh. I thought I was standing at the edge of the chasm because it's like... I have the light on in the office, and I'm watching the video through DaVinci because I took out the pause breaks. So I know how many times I died, kind of. That's why I want you to guess, Just go ahead and guess. See if you can determine Because I'm pretty good at video games. I really know what I'm doing, I swear, you know? Like, there's some fairly accurate shots that I make. And then I shoot at a cage. Yeah, I know what I'm doing, yeah. Anyways. So. Threw it too slow. Yeah, the dragon is pretty cheap, though, in certain cases. Like, you really got to get a potion of feather falling when you go in and doing this. Makes it a whole lot easier. Especially because I'm pretty sure you can bump it up to, like, 8 minutes long, and it's not that long of a fight. Like, I'm, like, 99% sure that less than 8 minutes in, I've already finished it. And that's with all the, like, extra stuff that I wind up doing. As you'll see. Man, it's very entertaining. Because I'm just making things up. Oh, but what I was going to say about the end, that's like, I've noticed about it, is that void, it triggers my fear of oceans. So I've got a fear of, like, big bodies of water, in a sense, if that makes sense. Like, the whole idea, like, as soon as there's a point in the water that sunlight never reaches, you know, that whole idea of the, like, deep dark ocean, that freaks the living crap out of me. The whole idea of, like, hovering above the void is just freaky, like, pathological fear. Real severe. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, that was unsuccessful. I threw it too low. I've actually, like, pretty much never used those ender pearls except for this time. Like, and that's number 1. So, if you guessed that I didn't die, I don't know what's wrong with you. Definitely was gonna die at least once. At least once. This is fun. I remember this. Womp! Yeah, right there. Right after spawning, right after getting in there, the dragon is just like, you know, clips through the blocks and is able to hit me while I'm in this, like, enclosed little staircase that I built. Yeah, no, the dragon can definitely just, like, kill me from there. Anyways, cheap. So, but I don't really mind because, spoiler alert, I did beat the game. So this was like yesterday morning, because I had spent the night before getting all the eyes in and getting the portal started, and I was like, oh, this is exciting. I'm going to do this tomorrow. This will be something for me to look forward to. But what is really, really annoying is the amount of times I have to, like, reset up my hotbar. Like, I don't know if you could tell, and you're definitely going to be able to tell in the very near future, because it becomes a peculiarity to my setup. I always have the pickaxe as number 1. Number 2 is always the torches. Always. That's just how it always goes. Number 3 is either the sword, if I'm going to be fighting, or it's the most otherwise used utensil. So, like, the spoon, shovel, whatever. Not pickaxe, it's the other axe. I don't even know what it would be called. The wood axe. Or a hoe, maybe. But either way, 1 and 2 is always the pickaxe and the torches. Just like 9 and 10 at the other end are almost always like food and a block. Sometimes the bucket of water. And then somewhere in between, there's always the bow. I almost always have a bow that I use because it's just super handy. And the bow that I have is dope. So it's like, why not? Dun 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 dun. Bam! No more healing for you, dragon. And you see, the dragon has full health, even though, like, initially I had, like, shot it a couple times with my bow on accident before it killed me the first time. It's all healed up. So any damage that you would wind up doing to it by getting to a point at which you can really attack it, it all just would go away. So you have to make sure that you go and you break all of these little dodecahedrons, or whatever they would be called. Three-dimensional prisms of some variety. But yeah, there's quite a bit of time that I spend every now and then just contemplating what I'm going to do. Being like, okay, next step. Gotta run over to the next tower. I'm a crouch, that'll save me, right? No. I probably could have just thrown an ender pearl just like literally anywhere that would be landing on land, and as long as I'd gotten out of that dragon's breath, I would have been fine. But I had to learn a lot of things on the go because I was not really expecting to be having as much struggle. Because I do know what I'm doing. I am pretty good at video games. It is one of my few talents. So there's just a few moments like this that are just a little embarrassing. Womp, womp, womp. So I think we're down to like 3 deaths. I think I've died 3 times so far. Shoot, I wasn't keeping track. I'll edit it in. There's a little clip that says, or a little thing on the screen that says, I was wrong. That's what that's about. See, I get it all set up. Womp death. Once more. Womp. That void still freaks me out every time I see. And here I am just being like, really? Really? I wasn't getting too tilted by this fight because I was like intending on it taking some time, and I just wanted to be, you know, get it over with in a sense. Because, I mean, I've heard about the shulker boxes since forever, or at least not since forever, but for a very long time. Really good person that I was in the dorm with at one point at the Evergreen State College when I was getting my bachelor's degree. This dude knew way more about Minecraft than me, by a long shot. Way, like, he's the person who started me on the farms, started me on a lot of things that I changed about how I play Minecraft. Because he just knew what he was doing. And I just never really cared too much. I enjoy the, like, discovery, you know? The, like, make it up yourself kind of feature. But I'd always made, like, ugly houses, ugly roofs, things like that. And, like, over time, based on womp, dead again. I think that's, like, 5 or 6 now. I'll have it in there. It'll be in there. It'll be in there. Okay, I promise. I promise. I promise. But yeah, so he'd shown me shulker boxes, and they're amazing. The whole idea that you could, like, fit a chest into one of your slots of your inventory, and it just holds stuff. Fantastic. Fantastic. I have so many projects that I could just label a shulker box. Just be like, this is for the farm. And then drop it down anytime I get anything that would go to the farm, and then dump it in there, pop it off, put it back in my inventory. Bada bing, bada boom. Fantastic, right? But I've never done this end stuff. Never gone to the end city. And you can't just, like, get shulker boxes otherwise anyhow. So you're pretty much SOL unless you go and you do all this, beat the dragon and everything. But see, pickaxe 1, torches 2, sword 3, bow 5, 9 is the food, and 10 is the blocks. Yeah, see all this, like, indecision. What am I doing? like, that dragon's not killing me again. I'm done dying. Dragon. And then I'm like, no, I'm not going to use dirt. I'm going to use the other stuff because I have more of it. And this time I'm going to crouch down so that maybe I don't get pushed off so easy. Yeah, I have too much fun with this. Wham! Yes, and my sword, for the record, is named Lieutenant Looty McLoot. Potentially Looty McLoot. I can't remember. I'll pass it in a bit. I want people to know. Or I could just pause the clip. No, because then I would have to, like, adjust. I'm not playing with any of this audio. The whole point of Jingle in the Dark and, like, the Minecraft clips is for it to be as simple as possible. Literally, like, just click record, talk about random stuff, and then watch me play Minecraft and comment on it. Because, you know, I'm pretty good at games. My wife and I are just struggling really bad. That's all that matters. Is that as long as I can, like, get something going at which it can be simple enough that I can make lots of random things, and hopefully we can get an income going for me so that life isn't so difficult. Obnoxiously so. But yeah, I've been reading a lot of Tolstoy recently because I'm doing some Tolstoy for Sage Spider. And the story Alyosha the Pot, like, Tolstoy's, like, way of writing is, like, a bit morbid. And it's kind of reassuring to me because I'm kind of, like, dark and morbid in a certain sense. But it's just anticlimactic. It's like the whole story is about this person who is, you know, everything you'd want. Yeah, real loud dragon. I'm not even changing the volume on the dragon. You're just gonna have to suffer the way that I suffered. So. Yeah, but anyway, so this person is like, you know, it's like a thin dude who's super eager to help and be of service to people, always smiling, doesn't talk back, you know, the ideal slave. Because back in the day, slavery used to really be a thing. Yeah, like we've, you know, evolved beyond that now, but yeah, I also am getting work, death, and sickness. I'm actually doing that one for Sage Spider. I'm not doing Alyosha the Pot. That one is just... Anyways, it's 2,000 words of just sad. Because basically, the dude has an older brother who works for a merchant. Alyosha has an older brother. And Alyosha's older brother gets called off to join a war. So Alyosha goes and takes the place as the helper for the merchant in town. And while he's helping out the merchant, after several years, he winds up meeting this girl, the cook, a servant cook. You know, not like the cook, but like, you know, someone who helps them. Falls in love, tells her that he'd like to get married to her, but then is basically told by everybody that they have no interest in there being babies, servant babies. So they need to get that shit out of their head right away. Anyway. But that's the end. I'll read the end. Because I didn't read it at the time. I found it kind of obnoxious, but for the record, I see the player you mean. Vonyet site? Yes. Take care. It has reached a higher level now. It can read our thoughts. That doesn't matter. It thinks we are part of the game. I like this player. It played well. It did not give up. It is reading our thoughts as though they were words on a screen. That is how it chooses to imagine many things, when it is deep in the dream of a game.
Words make a wonderful interface, very flexible, and less terrifying than staring at the reality behind the screen.
They used to hear voices before players could read, back in the days when those who did not play called the players witches and warlocks, and players dreamed they flew through the air on sticks powered by demons.
What did this player dream?
The player dreamed of sunlight and trees, of fire and water. It dreamed it created, and it dreamed it destroyed. It dreamed it hunted, it was hunted. It dreamed of shelter.
Ha! The original interface. 1,000,000 years ago, and it still works. But what true structure did this player create in the reality behind the screen?
It worked with 1,000,000 others to sculpt a true world in fold of the blank and created a blank for blank in the blank.
It cannot read that thought.
No, it has not yet achieved the highest level. That it must achieve in the long dream of life, not the short dream of a game.
Does it know that we love it? That the universe is kind?
Sometimes, through the noise of its thoughts, it hears the universe. Yes.
But there are times it is sad. In the long dream, it creates worlds that have no summer, and it shivers under a black sun, and it takes its sad creation for reality. To cure it of sorrow would destroy it. The sorrow is part of its own private tasks. We cannot interfere. Sometimes when they are deep in dreams, I want to tell them they are building true worlds in reality. Sometimes I want to tell them of their importance to the universe. Sometimes when they have not made a true connection in a while, I want to help them to speak the word they fear.
It reads our thoughts.
Sometimes I do not care. Sometimes I wish to tell them, this world you take for truth is merely blah and blah. I wish to tell them that they are blah in the blah. They see so little of reality in their long dream.
And yet they play the game.
But it would be so easy to tell them.
Too strong for this dream. To tell them how to live is to prevent them living.
I will not tell the player how to live.
The player is growing restless.
I will tell the player a story.
But not the truth.
No, a story that contains the truth safely in a cage of words. Not the naked truth that can burn over any distance.
Give it a body, again.
Yes, player. Use its name. Oversight, player of games. Good. Take a breath now. Take another. Feel air in your lungs. Let your limbs return. Yes, move your fingers. Have a body again. Under gravity, in air. Respawn in the long dream. There you are. Your body touching the universe again at every point, as though you were separate things, as though we were separate things. Who are we? Once we were called the spirit of the mountain, Father Sun, Mother Moon. Okay. Ancestral spirits, animal spirits, jinn, ghosts, the green man, then gods, demons, angels, poltergeists, aliens, extraterrestrials, leptons, quarks. The words change, we do not change. We are the universe. We are everything you think isn't you. You are looking at us now, through your skin and your eyes. And why does the universe touch your skin and throw light on you? To see you, player, to know you, and to be known. I shall tell you a story. Once upon a time, there was a player. The player was you, Vanyatite. Sometimes it thought itself human, on the thin crust of a spinning globe of molten rock. The ball of molten rock circled a ball of blazing gas that was 330,000 times more massive than it. They were so far apart that the light took 8 minutes to cross the gap. The light was information from a star, and it could burn your skin from 150 million kilometers away. Sometimes the player dreamed it was a miner, on the surface of a world that was flat and infinite. The sun was a square of white, the days were short, there was much to do, and death was a temporary inconvenience. Sometimes the player dreamed it was lost in a story. Sometimes the player dreamed it was other things, in other places. Sometimes these dreams were disturbing, sometimes very beautiful indeed. Sometimes the player woke from one dream into another, then woke from that into a third. Sometimes the player dreamed it watched words on a screen. Let's go back. The atoms of the player were scattered in the grass, in the rivers, in the air, in the ground. A woman gathered the atoms. She drank and ate and inhaled, and the woman assembled the player in her body. And the player awoke from the warm, dark world of its mother's body into the long dream. And the player was a new story, never told before, written in letters of DNA. And the player was a new program, never run before, generated by a source code a billion years old. And the player was a new human, never alive before, made from nothing but milk and love. You are the player, the story, the program, the human, made from nothing but milk and love. Let's go further back. The 7 billion atoms of the player's body were created long before this game, in the heart of a star. So the player too is information from a star. And the player moves through a story, which is a forest of information planted by a name called Julian, on a flat, infinite world created by a man named Marcus. That exists inside a small, private world created by the player, who inhabits a universe created by... Shush. Sometimes the player created a small, private world that was soft and warm and simple. Sometimes hard and cold and complicated. Sometimes it built a model of the universe in its head, flecks of energy moving through vast empty spaces. Sometimes it called these flecks electrons and protons. Sometimes it called them planets and stars. Sometimes it believed it was in a universe that was made of energy, that was made of offs and ons, zeros and ones, lines of code. Sometimes it believed it was playing a game. Sometimes it believed it was really reading words on a screen. You are the player, reading words. Shush. Sometimes the player read lines of code on a screen, decoding them into words, decoding words into meanings, decoding meaning into feelings, emotions, theories, ideas. And the player started to breathe faster and deeper and realized it was alive. It was alive. Those 1,000 deaths had not been real. The player was alive. You are alive. And sometimes the player believed the universe had spoken to it through the sunlight that came through the shuffling leaves of the summer trees. And sometimes the player believed that the universe had spoken to it through the light that fell from the crisp night sky of winter, where a fleck of light in the corner of the player's eye might be a star and 1,000,000 times as massive as the sun, boiling its planets to plasma in order to be visible for a moment to the player. Walking home at the far side of the universe, suddenly smelling food, almost at the familiar odor, about to dream again. And sometimes the player believed that the universe had spoken to it through the zeros and ones, through the electricity of the world, through the scrolling words on a screen at the end of a dream.
And the universe said, I love you.
And the universe said you have played the game well.
And the universe said everything you need is within you.
And the universe said you are stronger than you are now. Than you know.
And the universe said you are the daylight.
And the universe said you are the night.
And the universe said the darkness you fight is within you.
And the universe said the light you seek is within you.
And the universe said you are not alone.
And the universe said you are not separate from every other thing.
And the universe said you are the universe tasting itself, talking to itself, reading its own code.
And the universe said I love you because you are love.
And the game was over and the player woke up from the dream. And the player began a new dream. And the player dreamed again, dreamed better. And the player was the universe, and the player was love. You are the player.
Wake up.
Alrighty, that's that for that. And now, we're going to do the credits at ×4 speed. So, hey, you hear the background noise? Maybe I'll turn it up a little bit so that it's more easy to tell, or easy to hear. But, yeah, I don't know how much I'm going to have to, adjust things, because I did have to pause several times while doing that reading. But unlike when I do the Sage Spider readings, I didn't do multiple takes. We're going to go with whatever showed up. That's how it's going to be. And now we're back at regular speed. And see, I got the trophy, saying that I beat the game. Well, that's it for the video. Thank you for watching, and feel free to like or subscribe. Let me know what you think. I think I died 5 or 6 times, so we're going to have that be posted somewhere in it. But yeah, have a good rest of your day.